Hey friends, O2 Dad here.
And O2 Mom.
We just finished season 2 of Fruits Basket and we're here to update our tier rankings on the parents. And what a ride it's been. And if you're interested, we have our thoughts on season 2 as a whole on our channel.
You can find that here. And if you missed our first video, we are ranking all of the parents that can be seen or observed in some way in the Fruits Basket series. We're doing it by season because we're definitely an authority on parenting. Just kidding. We're just nerds.
As a reminder, this is just our opinions on this, but if you have any opinions on the matter, feel free to comment down below.
We're going to go ahead and bring back up our list, our tier list of the parents. As you can see, everybody is where we left them. We are going to start by updating any parents that need to be moved from one level to the next. So O2 Dad, is there anybody that needs to move?
Well, there is one parent that is moving up a couple ranks, and that is Arisa Uotani's dad.
So previously we saw Arisa's dad along with her mom in the D tier, but her dad gets an update. Now, Arisa's dad is going to jump all the way from D tier up to the B tier.
But O2 Mom, why does he do that?
Because, at least in my opinion, he's done a lot better. He's not just sitting around drinking anymore. And there's a very specific episode where there are parent-teacher conferences, and Arisa's dad shows up for her. And I mean, there's more to it than just showing up, but he essentially shows up for her in the way of accepting what she wants to do and being supportive of it. So he's going to jump up to B tier.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're moving on to parents who got to see for the first time in season 2. We're going to start with Yuki's parents. We're going to move Yuki's mom to D tier.
That's right.
So my reasoning behind Yuki's mom not being an F tier is toward the end of the season, we see her become a little bit more accepting of him, and she is not as terrible. Like it's I don't want to say it's clear, because at the beginning of the season, it's very clear that she does not care about him, and she literally calls him a tool.
Yep.
And that is not okay.
No.
That was what put her straight into F tier for me. But D tier, she moved up to D tier when at the end of the season we see her show some care toward Yuki by way of, telling him, don't forget to work. Don't forget to, worry about your studies. Like it still seems very whatever she is, but at the same time, the way she said it seemed like she cared a little bit more. So I said D tier.
You're a little more forgiving than me, I guess, because I don't know, it was a little more unmoving after the whole backstory on top of the parent-teacher conference. And Ayame had to come to the rescue.
Oh, man.
So, at this point, I need a little more from Yuki's mom in the final season for me to, change my opinion on her. But, she's in D tier right now. She might move up.
Can I just say something about parent-teacher conferences?
Oh, boy. Sure.
I feel like I've sat through quite a few parent-teacher conferences myself. And I just thought that was so interesting to hear all the parents and Yuki's mom, what a piece of work.
Yeah.
Moving on to the parents of Soma Kagura. We get to see her mom for the first time in season 2. And where did we move her, O2 Dad?
We are moving her up to B tier.
Okay.
So above average.
B tier for Kagura's mom. And why did we put Kagura's mom in B tier?
Well, I think she showed a lot of love and just was a good mom in general. I mean, nothing special. I don't think she went the extra mile like Kyoko and some of the other ones, but I think she showed enough of being like a good, competent mom to Kagura that she was willing to do what she wanted for her daughter, and not to mention on top of that, watching another child,
right,
and staying in the extra room. So
right,
which we'll get to them later.
It's a little different from like so our previous video we talked about how almost the qualifier for landing in S tier was you taking on responsibility for somebody else's kid. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit different with Kagura's mom. It's not like she's not necessarily like taking on responsibility for somebody else, mm-hmm. So much as she's letting them stay at her house, which is a little bit different.
Yeah, just kind of like a roommate.
There's no like strong I'm becoming your parent kind of a thing. It's more of a, hey, we have an extra room, and it's my responsibility as a Soma to provide rooms for other Somas. I don't know.
And mind you, we've only seen what we've seen in the show. There could be stuff happening behind the scenes. Sure. But I mean, just based off what we've seen, I can't see Kagura's mom like taking a bullet for Isuzu that like Kyoko probably would.
Yeah.
A little bit of an update. We are now at Momoji's parents.
Mm-hmm. So we see Momoji's father for the very first time. We previously have ranked his mother, so we just have to rank his dad now. And how did we do that?
Not much different from the mom.
No.
F
tier.
Bleh.
F tier.
Bleh.
Momiji has just the worst. They're just the worst people. They're the worst.
Yet Momoji is so great and so innocent and so awesome.
Right. You thought my feelings about mom were strong. Let's talk about dad. I mean, it's bad enough that mom said what she said. Mm-hmm. Dad not only enables that kind of like it's right. Terrible. Like he told his son, you have to stop taking violin lessons because your little sister is taking violin lessons with the same teacher. And we don't want you guys to cross paths, basically.
I think what makes it so bad is it's not even like mustache twirly villain type of evil. It's just this coldness. Yeah. Because you don't even see Momoji's dad like all the way, right? It's just kind of like shoulder, figure. Side of the head. Yeah. And there's just a cold indifference. And it was so cruel to me, so. Same place, F tier.
Yeah. Moving on to Hiro.
Hiro Soma, we've just seen the mother, correct?
Right. We don't see very many dads.
Continuing on with the mother-only trend here. All the dads are... No, they're not dead.
They're not dead.
The dads are just...
They're busy. They're important statesmen. They have jobs to do.
Yes. I don't know what they do, but they do...
No idea.
They do important business things.
Right. But Hiro's mom falls under the A tier for us. And why?
Because on the same level of Saki's parents, I feel like Hiro's mom goes above and beyond for Hiro. And even though Hiro is a snot-nosed little brat...
That's not nice.
Hiro is working on it. He's adjusting. But sure. I feel like his mom is...
I feel like Hiro's mom is very warm.
Yeah.
We don't get to see much of her. Like, just very small, minuscule amount. Yeah. But she seems very warm. Even though Hiro is maladjusted, like he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
That is clearly the result of personality mixing with traumatic experiences that have nothing to do with his parents.
Oh, yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that later.
But it's not his parents. His mom's very warm.
Yeah.
They've got a baby on the way, and things seem to be right as rain there. So next up we have Isuzu. Rin. Horse lady.
Horse girl.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, O2 mom was born in the year of the horse.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Did not know that.
Okay, so how did we rate Isuzu's parents?
I'm sorry, there's just so many awful parents in this show, but F tier.
F tier. F tier.
I mean, I know people are people and they're flawed, but they're just so evil. It's so bad.
I think her parents are worse than Momiji's. At least with Momiji, there's like with Momiji, it seems like there's definitely mental health issues. We talked about that in the last video. These parents just seem evil.
I mean, I don't know.
They just put on a facade, and then when the facade was broken, they decided we're just gonna abuse this child and then kick her out of our lives. What in the...
I mean, they just treat her like she's just extra. Like she shouldn't exist. I mean, she's just in the way.
Watching Isuzu shake on the floor out of pure terror and trauma was heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Like, there were tears. Tears were had in this household.
To Reen's parents, I say nay.
Next, we have Minagawa Motoko. So we're out of the Soma family, and we're talking about classmates at this point.
Yep.
All right, Motoko, we just get to see her mom.
Yeah.
And it's very brief.
Very brief.
But we are ranking every single parent that we come into contact with. So how does Motoko's mom measure up?
Based off what we've seen of her, because we heard her in the first season and saw her in a split second, her opening the door in the second season. I mean, there's not much to say. We just put her in C tier.
Yeah. We get frustrated with our kids all the time. Sometimes we can't help it and we just have to yell.
Not out of anger.
No,
but just to make ourselves heard.
You're not listening to me. Let me get louder, right? So every time we witness this person, she's always yelling. And so we just put her in C tier because there are better ways to communicate.
I mean, she's not great. She's not awful. So why just not stick her straight and dab in the middle?
Yeah.
So.
There's better ways to communicate.
Agreed.
All right, moving on, we have
Shiraki Mayuko.
Okay, and that is their teacher, right?
Yep.
So we did get to see Mayuko's mom.
Yep.
And again, very brief, but we have
episode.
and we have to rate all the parents, or else we failed at our job. So we see her and we have placed her in B tier.
Yes.
Do you want to explain why?
I put her a step above from Motoko's mom because even though it's also very brief and we don't see much, but it definitely seemed like Mayuko's mom is very attentive and very much caring for her child's needs and making sure she's taken care of, basically. Also a little manipulative, though.
I feel like they have a pleasant relationship.
Yeah.
They're warm toward each other. She plays that card that moms play. Like, oh, you need to settle down.
Yes, exactly.
That kind of thing.
Go
but
find a husband, yeah. So
I think it comes from a place of caring. But here's the difference between Mayuko and the rest of the characters. She's a full-grown adult.
Right, exactly.
So we're not going to see her mom parent the way that some of these other parents are parenting or not parenting. So,
right. I mean, she's moved out and has her own life.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
she has her own life. So parenting is going to look a lot different from the perspective of an adult child than some of these teenagers. So B tier seems like a good place to put her mom.
I agree.
Now the next two parent sets are a little intermingled, if you will. We have Maki Kuragi and Manabe Kakeru. They're entangled because they are half siblings and they share a dad.
Yes, so same dad, different mom.
Yeah. So we're kind of, it's going to be a little weird trying to put them on our board, but we're gonna do it.
Yep.
So let's start with Maki Katagi. Ooh. So for her, we're gonna put her parents, mom and dad, in what tier?
We're putting her straight down F tier, like most of the other parents seem to go.
Right, they're gonna go in the F tier, and why do we want to put them in F tier?
I kind of confuse them for Reen's parents because they just seem also equally terrible, and just treating her like she's a bother.
I don't know if I would say a bother. I feel like, first of all, I think the dynamic is different, mom versus dad.
Yes.
Dad is very much like a lot of these dads, pretty absent. But what we know about dad is he started this drama with these ladies because I think one was like a mistress. I think one was a mistress, one was the wife, and so there was like this weird thing going on with with the three of them. So just on that front, like I said in the last video, people have affairs, people, split up, they remarry. But that's separate from parenting. That has nothing to do with your parenting. Where I draw the line is when it starts to affect your kids and their ability to function in life. Just looking at this girl interact with her peers,
or lack of interaction.
Yeah, she has some damage. Okay, and most of the damage is at the hands of her mom. Absolutely. Definitely. But dad plays a role too. It's a partnership. You can't just, check out. I don't care. You can't just check out because, leave the drama to the women kind of, that's not okay. And so while everything's going on with the mom, dad is off to the side letting this happen. And I'm not okay with that. With regards to the mom, she's super toxic.
Yes.
Basically, definitely. It's like a competition between her and the other woman. And it's like, you have to get perfect grades. You have to do this. You have to do that. You're useless. You're worthless. If it's the worst case of keeping up with the Joneses. It's the worst. Yeah. It's the worst case of, having a trophy child and wanting them to be better than everybody else just for the sake of looking good. And I just all the way, wholeheartedly don't subscribe to that. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
So yes, I think both of those parents belong in the F tier.
I'm not opposed to overachieving parents necessarily, but I feel like if it's so much towards damaging the child to the point that she's so withdrawn, I feel like it's toxic, as you said. So.
Yeah. Moving on to Manabe Kakeru. So again, same dad. I'm just gonna say, we place mom in D tier, yes. Right? So that kind of pulls. So let's move dad. That kind of pulls dad up to D tier.
I think we can only base what we've seen, and we've only seen the one shot, and we didn't even see her face. It was just a voice, so we can't really go with much. It's just the fact that she didn't seem as terrible as the other mom, but I mean, and she at least
they both played that game.
They both played that game, but at least she relented, and she decided to be the higher person in that particular instance, and that's all we have. Wow, that's a lot more appearances go around. I'm beat.
Yep. And we have to go play Australian dogs with our kiddos, so we're going to need some coffee.
Yeah. So like we said before, we're starting season 3 soon, and then after that we'll be updating our tier list as well as giving a review of that season.
Well, this time it'll be the whole series, won't it?
And movie.
Because we're almost finished, so wow. We'll be updating that soon.
So stay tuned.
As always, I'm O2 Mom.
And I'm O2 Dad.
We love you. And don't forget to
eat your leafy green vegetables.